Welcome to Chełm, a city of centuries-old culture.
Chełm is an old town in the east of present-day Poland. It is beautifully situated among hills, rivers and forests. These areas used to be inhabited by Celts, Germans and then by Slavs. Most likely, first Jews arrived here around the 13th century.
The history of the city began right here, on the Chełm hill.
The origins of Chełm probably date back to the 10th century. The region belonged to the so-called Red Forts, functioning on the border of Western and Eastern Slavic lands, being part of Kievan Rus or Piast Poland. The first confirmed information about Chełm comes from the 13th century, when Chełm was located in the duchy of Vladimir Halik. The most eminent ruler of this country, Daniel Romanowicz, who received the title of the King of Ruthenia in 1253, built a mighty fortress in Chełm. It successfully resisted the Mongol invasions. The first records of the Jewish community come from the 15th century.
Now, let us take you for a short walk around Chełm.
During its almost 1,000-year history, the city suffered from great fires several times. It destroyed it almost completely. The oldest buildings are Catholic and Russian Orthodox churches, built mainly in the 18th and 19th centuries. Among the other remaining houses, those characteristic for Eastern Poland from the turn of the 19th and 20th centuries are dominant, giving the city a character of a typical shtetl.
Here is renowned well that has become a subject of numerous jokes.
It was probably here that the generations of Jews from Chełm, waiting for their turn to draw water, had discussions about the Torah and the Talmud, exchanged recipes for the best tzimes and chulent, or simply shared their worries and joys with one another and talked about everyday life.
This is a tenement house where Szymon Mondzain, a painter and a representative of École de Paris, was born.
This beautiful tenement house was built over 100 years ago by Józef Kupfer and Abuś Cwibel. Initially, it served as a hotel named Slavic. Later, it was turned into a residential building. Kupfer's tenement house is characteristic for its beautiful cast iron stairs made in the Kretschmar foundry in Chełm. And here, he doubled with painting and discovered his talent that brought him fame abroad in the future.
Here on Kopernika Street is smaller synagogue in Chełm.
It was built at the beginning of the 20th century. It survived the war and was renovated in the 1980s by the Supreme Technical Organization. In the 90s, it was sold to private entrepreneurs. Currently, it houses a restaurant. Right next to it, at the intersection of Krzywa and Szkolna streets, there used to be the so-called Old Synagogue. The legend has it that it was there where Rabbi Eliyahu ben Yehuda, called Baal Shem of Chełm, created a golem out of clay. The plot of the story, as well as its hero, have been appropriated by the inhabitants of Prague, who had their own golem. The old synagogue did not survive the war. It burned down in 1940. Today, a residential building stands in its place.
We are under the plaque commemorating a death march.
On Thursday, November 30th, 1939, the Germans who had entered Chełm shortly before issued an order whereby all Jewish men aged 16 to 60 had to gather in the market square on December 1st at 8:30. In 2019, Helmer Organization of Israel, together with Chełm Friends, commemorated the victims of the march with a plaque unveiled on the wall of the building at the corner of Łuczkowskiego Square and Kopernika Street.
An exceptional man, Shmuel Zigilboim, lived and worked in this tenement house.
He was born in Borowica by the Wieprz River near Krasnystaw. As a teenager, he moved to Chełm together with his family. It is here where he became a member of the General Jewish Labor Union called Bund. With strong socialist views, he was very active politically in Chełm for several years, mainly at the time of World War I. Many considered him a leader, and when the war ended, he served as a councillor in 1919. On May 12, 1943, after receiving news about the collapse of the Warsaw Ghetto uprising, he committed suicide, unable to come to terms with the extermination of Jews in Poland. The plaque was founded on the 65th anniversary of his death. It was the initiative of the Jan Karski Society and the Lublin Chamber of Crafts.
The brilliant violinist Ida Handel was born here, on Łączna Street.
Ida was born into a typical Jewish family. And according to most sources, her date of birth was December 15, 1925. From her early childhood, she showed a unique musical gift. She was a genius of the violin. At the age of 3, she started playing melodies of the songs she used to sing. The girl's talent was recognized by her father, Nathan, and he devoted his whole life to help Ida develop her skills and pursue a career in music. Ida Handel continued her many years of career abroad, but she never forgot her hometown. In 2006, the Miasteczko Association organized a sentimental concert at the Chełm Cultural Center, during which Ida, accompanied by Kapela Krakowiensis, performed works by her favorite composers, including Henryk Wieniawski. Until the end of her life, Ida reminisced about her beloved Chełm with incredible warmth. Here is a small square and a sculpture of little Ida Handel commemorating the brilliant musician. There is also a concert hall at the Chełm State Music School named after this great violinist.
In this place, in the Versal Cinema, she played her first concert at the age of 4. This interesting building is simply suka.
In Poland, it is sometimes called kuczka. It is where Jews spend 7 days during the Sukkot festival. Today, not many sukkahs are left in Chełm, and yet they bear testimony to the culture and religion of the former inhabitants.
Chalk tunnels stretched under the entire city of Chełm.
Initially, they were dug under the castle on the Chełm Hill, probably for defensive purposes. Later, chalk was mined practically in every cellar in Chełm. In this way, a multi-kilometer network of tunnels was created. It is unique on a global scale. Many Jews from Chełm were hiding in the chalk underground during the war. Today, some of the corridors are open to the public.
One of the unique characters from Chełm is Herschel Harry Lender, a man who gave America a bagel.
Herschel Harry Lender was born in Siedliszcze, from where he moved together with his parents and the whole family to nearby Chełm. This is where he must have tasted the first traditional bagels. He later moved to Lublin, where he started working as a baker. In August of 1927, he left Poland and set off across the ocean to fulfill his American dream. He settled in New Haven, where he bought his first bakery for $600. Working hard, he achieved incredible success. Nowadays, Lender's bagels can be bought in every corner of the USA.
And here in Brick, a wonderful place where you can taste it.
In this fine restaurant, you can taste different kinds of bagels, including the Chełm's-style bagel.
This is almost 100 years old kiosk, a place where angels came to dwell.
In the western part of the square, there is a wooden kiosk built in 1913 with the initiative of a Jewish merchant and social activist, Meir Dobkowski. He founded and ran one of the first Jewish libraries in Chełm and also taught to play the violin. During over 100 years of its history, it has served various functions, from a press kiosk to a riding equipment rental. Currently, the kiosk is called Under the Angels, and it is in the hands of Katarzyna and Mariusz Klimczak. We hope that you are at least a little encouraged to visit the extraordinary town of Chełm. Finding a road that will lead you there is not difficult. As the famous Nobel Prize winner Isaac Bashevis Singer wrote, the whole world is one great Chełm.
Kochany, śliczny Chełm, rodzinne miasto me. I choćbym gdzieś na końcu świata był, na końcu tęczy stał, i tak powrócę tu. Już słychać szalom, alejchem, zaraz wieczerza zacznie się. Rebeka staje przed Panem swym, unosząc w górę dłonie dwie. W jej oczach łzami chodzę, szczęścia czy smutku, któż to wie. O łaskę błaga dla ludu swego, modlitwy chęt do niebios szle. Bo cały świat to jeden wielki Chełm, kochany, śliczny Chełm, rodzinne miasto me.